Oh, so you're probably wondering why I'm wearing this hoodie. It's because it's cold. And I have the heater going, and it's still cold. In fact, let me look at my phone. Uh, no, actually, it's not as cold as it feels. It's 39, which is well above freezing, but it doesn't feel like 39. I'm probably just getting old. So when you get old, you get cold. Although I don't get cold very easily. But I think one reason is the wind started up out there and it's blowing pretty good. Anyway, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did. I went to my best friend Mark's house, which is actually just up the street, about 4 or 5 blocks. Went up there, had a great time, great food, awesome food. I went there last year as well. Probably will be my last time going there, at least here. He does have another house down in Phoenix area. So I may end up, if they ever have Thanksgiving down there, we'll probably... No, this camera is not straight. I'm having a heck of a time getting this camera straight. Anyway, hopefully, I don't know if it looks any straighter than it did, but I got it pretty much straight now. As you can tell, I'm a little tired. It's been a very long few days trying to get a lot of stuff done, trying to get ready to go. And as I said in another video, where are people coming up with stuff that, oh, he's not really moving? Yeah, I guess I bought all of the camping equipment that I bought so I could do this and was planning on doing this. I guess I bought it just to make a video. Oh, man. If you believe that, you're dumber than a brick. Anyway, I'm trying not to be negative. But, you know, it does get irritating. People accusing me of lying when I'm not. People accusing me of doing things that I did not do. But, you know, whatever. If that's what you want to believe, then go ahead and believe it, because you're not going to believe anything I say anyway. So, it's whatever. You know, people saying, oh, Kevin's lied about everything. I haven't lied about one thing. Not one thing. If I have, let's see proof. Simple as that. You people that saying that I'm lying about everything, let's see some proof. The truth is, there is no proof because I haven't lied about anything. And I'm going to be out of here in a few days. I'm going to be out on the road. I'm going to be camping initially in very cold weather because I've got some loose ends I need to tie up in this area. And it's freaking cold out there. The wind's blowing out there. It's like when I went to let copper outside, it was like burr. Of course, it will be much better in a tent. Now, I'm going to be honest about something, and that is the fact that I did, because I had the money to do it, thanks to Bella, I did end up buying more of a winter tent because, and I didn't realize this, and this is on me, the tent that Nancy got me is not a winter tent. It doesn't seal. I don't know how to explain this so it makes sense. But the rainfly, it's open on top, and then the rainfly comes over and it's right there, but there's nothing to keep the wind out or the cold temperatures out, and there's nothing to keep the heat in. So basically, the heater that I have, or any heater for that matter, it doesn't matter what kind of heater I got. So it's not a fault of the heater. The heater's a good heater. But it would be basically futile to try to heat the yurt tent with a heater in the winter. So I plan on using that tent during the summer, and I bought a more functional winter tent. And I know that I did a lot of research, but I found out some things later that, the tent that she got me is a great tent, and I'm looking forward to using it. It's not feasible to use in the cold weather, in the winter, just not. So anyway, I just wanted to be upfront about that, because the tent that you're going to see me in is not the tent that she got me. The tent that I got is a winter tent, because, I mean, the way I look at it is this. I'm not going to spend the money, 20, 30, 40,000, 50,000 for an RV. Number one, I can't afford it. Also, they're not cost effective. I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube of people that switched from an RV because they say it's just too expensive to maintain. The little bit that I get from Social Security, I can live on in a tent. Plus, there are a lot of areas that I can go with my four-wheel drive Explorer that you can't go in a tent. I don't want to go way, way, way off the road, but there are some areas that I'll probably be exploring and camping in that I can get there in a four-wheel drive, but wouldn't be able to get there in an RV. So I look at a tent as an investment because that's essentially going to be my home, and a very cheap home. I had originally thought of putting a dome home on my property in Arizona, but all of the obstacles and the expense that it would cost to do so, to put, first of all, the dome home, and then to have electricity run or to buy solar panels for it is another expense. To drill a septic tank and a well, you're looking at, I don't know, one person said it cost they drill a well in the same kind of area that my property is. cost them $65,000 just to drill the well. No. So the way I look at it, here's my philosophy on this. I can live in my tent. I can go wherever I want to. I have no timetable. If I decide I want to go look at this area, the only timetable that I would have would be weather related, because there are some areas up north that I'm not going to go to in the winter. Also, I don't really feel all enthralled about camping in the bear country. Be pretty. The forests are really, really nice. And like this one guy, I watch his channel. He's always doing the camping videos and gear reviews and stuff like that. He's always saying, well, the chances of you getting attacked by a bear, blah, 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 blah. Okay, Google how many bear attacks there are in the United States every year. Google how many deaths are a result of a bear attack. And so I wonder if you interviewed those dead people, what they think of the odds. To me, there's enough area I can camp in that is out of bear country that there's a lot to see just in those areas. Plus, with the cost of fuel, I don't really want to be doing a whole lot of driving at one time. But if I can drive a ways, camp there, drive a little bit more, a couple of weeks or a month later, it minimizes the cost. Plus, you figure wear and tear on the vehicle. My Explorer is a 2009, so it's not like it's brand new. And by the way, I just got it back, when was it? Yesterday. Just got it back yesterday. It's all fixed. And let me tell you, it was nice being able to put it into gear and not have to fight it. And it was nice driving it around, not having it going thump, 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 and the steering wheel shaking. Now, as it turned out, what they had to do to it, they had to replace, I don't know if it's the gearbox or something, that whatever it was, the unit that you used to shift it into gear, because I was having to like play with the brake and stomp on it, stomp on it, stomp on it just to get it to go into gear. And there were a few times I didn't think I was going to get it into gear. So anyway, now it's awesome. Put it into gear and, normally, like it was when I first got it. Also, too, they had to replace, I think they said one ball joint. They had to replace both tie rods, which I kind of figured it was the ball joint with the thump, 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 thump. I figured it was either the ball joint or the U joint or the XYZ joint. No, I figured it was something like that it was more, because it only seemed to do it like when I went to turn. Because when I go down to and you guys have seen this on video, as I go down from my place and I go down to the stoplight, it goes around a curve. And as I'm turning it to the left, I can feel the pull. It doesn't do it when I turn it to the right, or didn't do it. It doesn't do it either way now. But every time I would turn it to the left, it's like it was catching, or there was something that was messed up, and it was thump, 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 thump. So I'm grateful that, considering what was wrong with it, it lasted as long as it did, that it didn't go completely out and leave me stranded somewhere. Of course, I didn't drive it very far. I mean, driving it over to Walmart, which is about 3.5 miles, that was about as far as I wanted to take it. But to not have to worry about that now is a blessing. I'm just really, really grateful that I was able to get it fixed. Thanks to Bella, thanks to my sister, everything's fixed now. And I mean, there's just a lot of things I'm grateful for, because there were some things I was able to get that I wouldn't have been able to, that I really needed. So anyway, I'm looking forward to, I mean, I'm not looking forward to the cold, but then again, once I get the tent set up, and I'm going to make sure that I have enough food and water to last me for a month at least, so I don't really have to move around. And I can just stay in one place, and then when I head down to Arizona, I get down into the warmer weather. I'm really looking forward to going down there. And, just, this is an adventure. Is it scary? Yeah, it's scary. Am I apprehensive? Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns, that I won't really know about until I get out there and I'm actually doing it. But the thing is, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos of people who are doing this very thing. Some people by choice, some people are like me, doing it because of financial reasons. But the thing is, I've seen them say so many times, they say, I wish that I had done this years ago and not waited until I was old to do it. But to be honest with you, it's not something I really thought of doing. I originally, last year, earlier in the year, I was researching going to Mexico because the cost of living was so much lower down there. But there then were a couple of things that precluded me from doing it. One of which was they raised the requirement, the financial requirement, the income requirement for staying longer than 3 to 6 months, or staying there full time. And they raised it about at first, when I first started looking into it, I was about $100 over what their requirement was. Well, then the next thing I knew, they raised the requirement to where it was pretty much double my income. So it's like, okay, well, that's not going to work. So, but I thought about going down there for like 6 months, because you could stay 3 to 6 months depending on how long they give you. It's supposed to be 6 months, but you know how Mexico is. Yeah, I was going to spend like 6 months in Mexico, and then like 6 months in Colombia, 6 months in Peru, or however long you can stay there, Ecuador. I was going to stay all these different places. Well, then someone I know who lives down there started talking about how the cartels were taking over everything, and how it was not the same kind of place that it had been. So I figured, you know what? instead of doing that, I've been looking into this van life thing because financially, those are my only two options. Well, once I didn't really feel Mexico was a viable option for me, I figured, okay, well, van life, or I didn't want a van. I wanted something with 4-wheel drive. And I know that you can get 4-wheel drive vans if you want to spend $100,000 or whatever, because a lot of these, like these Mercedes vans and these Dodge, I can't remember what they're called. A lot of these vans are $100,000 and over. And it's like, crap, if I could afford that, I could just buy a home and not have to go anywhere. So, and I thought about, I looked at several RVs, but most of them were, anywhere from a 1978 to a 1992 was the newest. A lot of them needed a lot of repair. And I'm thinking, you know what? I just don't think that's feasible for me with my income. Plus, like I said earlier, there's a lot of places you can't take an RV that you can take, my Explorer with 4-wheel drive. Because I can't afford a 4-wheel drive van, $100,000 van, or even if you can get a used one, which even a lot of the used ones are over $100,000. If you don't believe me, look them up. They ain't cheap. So it's like, so I originally thought about sleeping, using the Explorer or an SUV. I hadn't even gotten an SUV at that time. But getting an SUV and living in that, sleeping in it. But the more I researched it, I didn't see that as being feasible because there ain't enough room to take everything that I need to take and have room to sleep. Plus, I wanted to get a dog because it's like, okay, if I'm going to be out camping, I want to get a decent sized dog that might deter people from invading my camp. And so I started trying to find a dog to get. What's interesting is that I wasn't even interested in Copper until I went to the shelter. I was interested in this one. It was a bull terrier because I think they're such cool dogs. There was this one bull terrier that they were having trouble finding a home for. And when I went there, I was able to see why. I mean, he wasn't a bad dog. It's like he wouldn't even pay any attention to me. They brought him over and I had him by the leash and he kept wanting to go back after the people in the shelter and was looking at them, and I was trying to get him to pay attention to me, and he wouldn't even look at me. So there was no way we could connect. I have to be able to connect with a dog. I mean, we're going to be living together. It's just like if you're trying to connect with a partner, you want to make sure that it's somebody that you can live with. That ain't going to drive you crazy. So anyway, the bull terrier, he, I just tried to connect with him, but he wasn't paying attention to me. So I told the lady there, it's like, I don't feel it. Well, then there was another dog that I just absolutely loved. He was a chocolate lab, big dog, bigger than Copper. Huge chocolate lab, just sweet dog. And it and I connected right off. It just, but here was the problem. There were 3 other families that were interested in this dog. And one of their concerns, even with Copper, was that I don't have a fenced-in yard, which that hasn't been an issue with him because he's a good dog. He knows not to go out of the yard. He's got a certain area he knows he's supposed to be in, and he's gone out a couple of times, but it's been, cross my fingers, knock on wood, it's been a while since he's wandered off, and he never wanders far. But these other families wanted this chocolate lab, and they all had fenced-in yards. All this had the perfect situation for him, and so I figured, I love this dog, but I don't think I would end up with him. And so I was just about to leave the shelter, and the lady says, well, and I said, well, I think these other people, want him. In fact, one of the couples that wanted this chocolate lab were right there watching me interact with this dog. And I could tell that they were kind of like, but it's like, whatever, But I just didn't really, in my gut, I felt that I probably wouldn't end up with him. And so, I was just about to leave. And then I remembered there was this other dog that I saw on their website. There was one that was a pit bull that said it was really good with people, but it was horrible with other dogs. Well, I didn't want a dog that was aggressive toward other dogs because I wanted to be able to take him to the dog park and stuff without worrying about it getting in a fight, getting aggressive. And so I didn't even look at the pit bull because, not that I have anything against pit bulls, but it's just that they said it was aggressive toward other dogs. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted a dog that, I could take, like I said, take to the dog park, take wherever, and it's not going to try to attack other dogs. And the only other dog that they had that I remembered seeing was this dog called Copper. And so I asked the gal, I said, what about Copper? And she warned me. She said, it's really skittish. It's really afraid of everything. Blah, blah, blah. We've had a really hard time placing it. She's really honest with me, which I appreciated. Well, there was a couple there who had taken Copper home for the weekend. They'd take him home. They'd had him quite a while, but this couple would take him home for the weekend. And he was sitting over on this couch to the left of me. And they brought Copper out. Well, they tried to bring him over toward me. He saw me. I went to pet him, and he took off and ran and jumped up on the couch where this guy was, and he's like hiding behind him, pretty much looking at me. So I'm like, I don't know. But something told me to just wait. And pretty soon, he settled down, and he kind of was on the edge of the couch over there. And I was reaching over, and I was petting him and stuff. And that's a good dog. Oh, it's a good dog. And I said, I think this dog and I could get along. And to show you how much they wanted to try to find him home, she goes, well, do you want to take him home and try him out? And I'm kind of like, no, let me think about him. Because it just kind of like caught me off guard, they're like, because I didn't expect that. I figured you'd fill out all the paperwork and do all this stuff, then you'd have to go through all this rigmarole in order to even consider me as an owner. And I said, no, let's wait, let's wait. And this over here. Okay. Let's wait. So I was with a gal friend of mine. She got over there with me, and I was like, so I don't know why. I just didn't feel right about taking him right then. Well, then came back here and we talked about it, and I said, well, I can always take him back, if he doesn't work out. So I called the gal from the shelter and I said, I'm willing to take him and see how we get along and all that stuff. So I went there and picked him up, brought him home. And I think I've said this before. I almost took him back. In fact, I told Mark, my best friend, I said, I think I'm going to have to take him back. He's scared of everything. We're not really making a whole lot of headway. But at the same time, I had really bonded with him. But I remember I said, well, I've got to give him an answer by tomorrow on whether I'm going to keep him or take him back. I said, I think I'm going to have to take him back because he's so scared of everything. He's driving me nuts. That evening, I was petting him and he was giving me the goo-goo eyes, puppy dog eyes. But, I was talking to him and I said, I think I'm going to have to take you back. I hate to do that. I went to bed that night and it was like, no, I can't take him back. And boy, am I glad I didn't, because he has turned out to be such a great dog. I mean, I just love him to death. He loves me to death, and he's awesome company. He's cheap entertainment. He didn't hardly, it was funny because when I got him for like the first 6 months, he was not at all affectionate. He never barked. He didn't bark. I never heard him bark. Well, it's changed now. But he wasn't affectionate. He never barked. He was just totally, And they say, it takes sometimes 3 to 6 months for a dog to develop trust and to bond with you. And it did. But now, after a year and a half, it's like, it's not even, it hasn't been an issue for a long time now. He's my sidekick. He doesn't like me being away from him. He even going outside. Like today, I was up at Mark's. I was gone for about 4 hours. I got home. Oh, he was so excited. He just, and that's really cool. It's like living by yourself. It's nice to come home. And even though it's a dog and not a human, it's still nice to see them all excited about seeing you and just, just hyper as heck. But anyway, I don't know how I got off in this rabbit hole. But something's tickling my throat. But the thing is, he has become extremely protective. It's like when my sister came over the other day, I had to keep him from going after her because he was like, Yeah, he's extremely protective of me now. It's funny because he was always scared of everything, but when it comes to being protective, he's not scared. So anyway, that's I guess my original point was that's why if I was going to be out camping by myself, I wanted a dog, and I wanted a big dog because somebody comes up to check you out and they hear a little chihuahua, it's not going to put the fear of God into it. Copper's about 100 pounds and part shepherd. So, yeah, he would put fear, and he's got real big teeth. So he would definitely put fear into him because he ain't no punk. But anyway, I've gotten way off my original point, and I don't even remember what it was. But I'm looking forward to getting out there, traveling. Like I said, I'm going to try not to travel too much. Because gas ain't $1.50 a gallon anymore. But if I space it out and plan it out, somebody's texting me, and I plan it out. I think I can go in. I can see a lot of area, and I've still got my land as my home base. I can go there and set my tent up and stay there for a month or 2 months or whatever. Do whatever I feel like doing. If I want to stay there for 2 weeks and then feel like getting out and going somewhere else, I can do that. Then come back. So, to me, yeah, I could put a home on there. I could put one of those dome homes, which I still think would be really cool. And of course, when I get down there, I will check into all the expenses and get some estimates and stuff like that to see if it even be feasible. And if it is feasible, I still may do that and still travel and just use my property, and the dome home and all that is a base of operation. And I can even be there in the winter because I would be indoors, and maybe put in a wood stove. Of course, there really ain't any wood around there. It's all desert and sagebrush. Not a whole lot of trees. If you watch the drone footage on my one video, you can see what I'm talking about. There ain't a whole lot there. But, at least I will have a place that I can go if I don't feel like, traveling, and I want to just get away from people for a while. I can go there, get on my property there, because there's nothing else out there. I ain't got no neighbors, obviously. And go there and just, and see things in in that area. It's only a couple hours, about an hour, a couple hours from Flagstaff, which Flagstaff looks really, really pretty. So, and there's a lot of things to see around where my property is. I was amazed at all the things. Of course, it's kind of it's where the petrified forest. It's not too far from the petrified forest, which is, the petrified, a petrified forest. It's not too far from there, and that's a lot of tourists. So there's a lot of things to see just around in there, and just the things that I've looked at that I'm looking forward to getting there and exploring and seeing. It's basically just right off of Navajo Reservation. So it's highly Native American area, but they've also got Native American restaurant that just opened up there called Mother Road. And they've got like the Indian tacos and stuff like that, which I love those things. Fry bread. Although I can't eat there very often because it's highly caloric. And I don't want to get fat. So, well, that wind's kicking up out there. Whew, I can hear it. I can hear like little branches hitting against the house or whatever. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys an update, and I probably rambled on a lot more than I should have, but whatever. It don't cost nothing. And maybe, hopefully, some of you will find what I'm saying interesting. I'm just, I'm trying to view this not as a negative, but as a positive, because it's something that I really do want to do. Again, I'm apprehensive only because of the unknowns. I'm apprehensive of the unknowns. I don't know what all to expect, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. I love camping, and I'm going to try to make it as comfortable as I can. I'm going to try to make it as much living somewhat of a normal life as I can, because I've got my table that I showed you the other day. I've got a blow-up air mattress. It's a queen-size air mattress that I used, and I also talked about that the other day. Very, very comfortable. So I've got that. I've also taken my TV. I've still got my hotspot. So I've still got internet. Somebody was talking about Starlink on one of the videos. And I thought, oh, that would be kind of cool. It'd give you basically reception no matter where you were. Even if you didn't have normal cell reception, you could have it with Starlink, satellite. The only problem is, just for the unit, it was like $599 or something like that. And then, not only that, but then you had to have a subscription to a satellite service to be able to use it. So I'm like, well, I'll just try to find areas that, have cell coverage. It's not always possible. But also, like I was saying the other day, when I'm in Lake Havasu, I'll be staying at the different BLM, free camping areas. But I can run into Planet Fitness and upload my videos, or a coffee shop or wherever, upload my videos, and not have to use my slow hotspot. So anyway, I can feel my eyes closing. I'm starting to do like I did that one night when I was doing that one live, and everybody was concerned about me, thought I had something medically wrong with me or something, when in reality I was just getting tired. And like right now, my eyes just keep closing and closing and closing. I'm just super pooped. So anyway, I'm going to shut up, and I need to get done with this anyway, so I can process it and get it uploaded. So anyway, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hope everybody, plus I ate turkey. I ate turkey too, so that's another thing that make you drowsy. Although it's been quite a while ago now, quite a few hours. But anyway, I hope everybody had good Thanksgiving. Hope you all overate like I did, so I don't feel so bad. I always overeat on Thanksgiving. It doesn't make any difference, especially when they had like 4 different kinds of pies. I only tried 2 of them though. I had 3 last year. I didn't eat any apple this year. Although I wish I had a slice of it right now. I should have taken a slice home. But yeah, but I did have pumpkin pie and chocolate cream pie. It didn't have any apple pie. And they didn't have cherry pie this year. Last year they had cherry pie, which, that's my favorite. But anyway, I had a really good Thanksgiving. I hope that the rest of you did as well. And so, I know this has been a bunch of blah, 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 blah. But I wanted to put something out there. And anyway, I better get off here if I fall asleep. So, because I'm just like, I can barely keep my eyes open, barely keep my head up. I just want to lay my head down on the desk here and go to sleep. And I'll start rambling and saying all kinds of weird crap like I always do. When I get overly tired, I'll just start rambling, and I will say stuff that makes no sense. I will say stuff that's totally untrue. I just like boom, 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 whatever pops into my head. And a lot of times it doesn't even pop into my head. It just goes straight out the mouth without it going through the filter first. So now, for the 30th time, hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Hope you ate more than me, so I don't feel so guilty. And anyway, we'll talk to you the next time that I do an update. Take care.